Craig, we were just kind of speculating where we think the Redskins might go if they don't move in the draft. What do you think is most likely to happen with that first-round pick?
I think somewhere on defense, but I really don't know at this point. I think, A, it's too early in the process, and B, more importantly, in terms of them specifically, they don't have any specific dying need. Where last year you look at D-line and you're like, man, they need something. They've got Allen and Ioannidis, and they've got some other guys for depth. You would love to upgrade and add another guy specifically inside that rotation. And I think that's still probably the most likely based off the kind of guys you see in mock drafts falling and things like that. But it's not like they have some dying need that, you know, and a player that's probably going to be there and all the factors. And that's a good thing. They're at a point with their roster where if they can get the guys back that are, back healthy from last year, they've got starters in most places.
Craig, so if that's the case, if there's not one guy that's glaring that they need to pick at 13, is the mindset, well, let's slide back in the first round. Let's get back to 25 or 28, accumulate some extra picks, and build the roster that way. Is that a possibility?
I wouldn't think so. I think it comes down to this. When they build their board, basically, everyone thinks, need versus best player available. That's not really how that works. When you build your board, you put a grade, and your grade is dependent on the position that you need to, but it's also kind of done in tiers. And so if they get to 13 and the only guy left in the tier of best player available is at a position they don't need, is a tackle, let's say, then they might move down and go, all right, well, we don't need to spend our 13th pick. We'd love to add some more depth, sure, but we don't need someone at that position, and he's clearly the best player left on the board. So we can either take an inferior player at a bad value or move down. So we'll move down. But I think they're at a point where almost, it would have to be basically like tackle, because even while they're set, corner, safety, a lot of this, they have their starters. You don't go, oh, yeah, we don't need another one, or we won't need another one soon. So I think you'd probably go ahead and pick, whether it's Derwin James out of Florida State or, one of the corners who falls. So I don't think that they wind up trading down either. It's just that they're going to have a lot of options available at 13.
If you had to prioritize, all things being equal, but just prioritize their needs, what have you come up with so far at the top?
I would say running back and wide receiver, because I think those are the two positions where they need starters. Even at defensive line where they need depth, and you could argue need it badly, they have their starters. Allen and Ioannidis are their two starters. And you look at when they're in the 4-down lineman and nickel, which is where they are more than they are in their actual base defense. But I think they need playmakers, and they need guys who can kind of have that game breaker ability, that speed, that ability to catch the ball and make moves, make guys miss, and turn a 10-yard pass into a 50-yard touchdown. And I think, in free agency, they should probably address the receiver position. And then there's a couple guys at running back in this class that I think are worth looking at, maybe even early. I don't know whether there's going to be a guy that's a right fit at 13, but I've said this a million times at this point. If Sonny Michel's available in the second round, they better run to the podium and take him, because he's the kind of guy that could fit perfectly in this offense.
So out of the quarterbacks that are there, Allen will be there. Is Darnold going to be there, just not throw, or is he not going to? He's not going to be there at all.
No, he'll be here at the combine. He's just not going to throw. He'll go through all the interviews, and I'm assuming he'll run and all that kind of stuff too. Just not going to throw.
Lamar Jackson will be there. Mayfield will obviously be there. So, I mean, that's the biggest story of this particular combine, is just how good the quarterbacks will look in this workout, correct?
Yeah, for me, especially Jackson, because there's so much, to me, nonsense about him. His tape is really good, and I don't really understand why there's some question of whether or not he's a first-round pick, or especially some of the wide receiver shenanigans. Yeah, he's a great athlete, but, man, he can play quarterback. And so I think if he goes out there and drills, you have that kind of different look where he's in the middle of a bunch of quarterback stuff and he's not out there in the jersey that's familiar. You get that fresh set of eyes on him almost just by seeing him in a different environment. I think the people that are saying he's not a quarterback are going to shut up real quick, because he's got a lot of ability to throw and throw accurately and throw hard and far. He's got a really strong arm too. And then the other big thing this week is just, any kind of things that come out in the interviews, anybody that fails a drug test, things like that tend to be. But I think going into the week, quarterbacks are certainly the most interesting.